This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so in the last class we have seen about your formatting operators. So we have seen about your formatting options, and then we have started with our operators. In that we have seen about your equi operator, we have seen about your convert operator, we have seen about your conditional operator, and the last operator we are going to see is your switch operator. So what is this switch operator? The switch. So this is similar to like case and case statement. This is similar to like your case statement. So you know the case statement, right? So the replacement of your case statement is your switch statement. The switch statement. So now let's see an example for this. So the syntax is data of, let's take a variable. I want to get my variable is equal to, so previously what we have write, so we have written condition hash in case of your if statement. In case of your if statement, you have written it as condition hash, whereas in the case statement we have to write the switch hash. And what is your variable? What is your variable? So like the same way, see here, so you will be writing, see the case and what is your variable. So here also I'm just going to write the same thing, switch hash and what is your variable you want to going to compare. So let's suppose my parameter, and then, so now when condition, when C1 meets, then it's equal to your value 1. When C2, then its value 2. I want to write the same thing. When C3, like this, you will go ahead and write. After that, at last, for others, the same way, else value. I'm going to say it as else value. So this is what your switch statement is. So now let's see an example program. Let me log on to SAP. So I'm going to SC38. So GR 8 AM AOH example on the switch. So now I'll just go ahead and create this example on the switch operator. The switch operator. So now I'll go to my executable program. I'll just say click on save. I'll go to my package as well as my TR. I'll save it over there. So now, no standard page heading by default. And now I'll go ahead and create a parameter. Parameters P underscore, let's take land1 type land1. I'm just going with my data element land1. So now I'm going with my startup selection. So now the old syntax, I'm just say with the case statement. So in this, how you will be writing case on P underscore the land1. So when, one second, case and P underscore the land1. So let's say I was just supposed to give it as US, then I will say this as right is equal to, I'm just going ahead with my USA. Now when I'm going to give it as India, IN, then I will be saying this as write India. So let's take when I'm going with others, then what you will be citing, right here, others. Others. So this is what I'm going to write down. So now the same statement, how can you replace with your switch? So I'll be saying write switch hash. See here, switch hash. And what is my parameter? P underscore the land one. So then when US. So when USA, then I need to go ahead and write this as my USA. So when IN, then I'll go ahead and write it as India. So else, I'm go ahead and write this as others. That's it. So this is how you have to use your switch operator. So let's do your pretty printer and let's get activate your code. So now when I say click on execute, and if I say it as US, say execute, see here, I got the same value as US and USA. USA and USA, the same thing. So this is how you have to use. Now you need to replace this case statement with always with your the switch statement. You need to replace the case statement with always with your switch statement. So this is how you have to improve your new skills wherever it is applicable. Now the next, so these are some of the things, these are the new syntaxes which we will perform on the internal table. Whatever the syntaxes which we want, we will be performing on my internal table data. Now how to fill this internal table in a new way? How to fill this internal table in a new, with the help of new syntax, with the help of the new syntax. With the help of your new syntax, how can you fill your internal table? So now, so the old syntax is what we will be using, the loop and your end loop. So in that we will be just going and calling that, and you will be filling your final internal table or whatever it might be. So the replacement of your loop and end loop is your for loop. The replacement of your loop and end loop is your for loop. So for loop will perform the same way how the loop and end loop is performing. For loop will perform in the same way how the loop and end loop is performing. Okay, remember that. So now what is the syntax? So the old syntax, let's see the old syntax. So this is one of the most important thing, guys. Please do remember this. So I'm going to say, so old syntax, what you will be writing in the old syntax. So you will be saying loop at, let's take an internal table, gt underscore itab into, I'm going to say this as gs underscore work area, and here you will be using your read statement. You will be using your read statement, and you will be using your if statement, and you will be using your case statement. You can use your case statement. Case statement. You can use your concatenate statement. Concatenate statement, and you can use your formatting statements like the internal to external conversions and everything. Formatting statements. Whatever we have seen. So all these things you can work with your loop and end loop. The loop and end loop, you can go ahead and work with that. Now the new syntaxes for all these things, we can do that in your for loop. We can do that in your for loop. So now coming to this for loop. So for loop, we need to have an internal table. So I'm just going with have my internal table. Let's say GT underscore final. So reading of your internal table and filling of your final. I can say and filling the final internal table. So this is what you will be doing. So now the final internal table I'm going to provide it is equal to, so the value has, even I forgot, one second, value hash, and you need to open your brackets. So I told you value hash is mainly used for reading as well as for to prepare your internal table, to get your work area and to get your particular field also. Okay, value hash, and you need to use a command called as for work area, whatever the work area in and my internal table. So here, what is my work area? GS underscore work area in GT underscore I tab. GT underscore I tab. So now after this, you need to open one more braces. You need to open one more braces. So here, if you want, you can keep your where conditions too. I'm going to show you that the where conditions also, you can just go ahead and keep it like how you will be keeping your where conditions over here. Where conditions over here, you can just do that for. And then what is the field in this final internal table? Field 1 is equal to GS underscore work area hyphen your field 1. The next one. So let me remove this where conditions as of now. The next one. Field 2 is equal to GS underscore work area hyphen your field 2. Next, field 3, let's say I want to get it from the internal table 1. Based upon this work area conditions, I have an internal table. So now in this case, you will be writing this your read statement value hash GT underscore I tab 1 of, let's take field 3 is equal to GS underscore work area hyphen your field 3, and let's take you want to get the details of your field 4, and you will be writing your optional. See here, now I'm going to write my read statement. Now the next thing, field 4 is equal to, I want to concat. So what I need to do, I'll say version ID. I can do this concatenation too. Version ID, and then I'll just go ahead and say one more thing. Version ID, if I need a space, I'm going to have my space. Amir paid, and then that's it. So let's say I'm just going with a concatenation. Next, for field 5, let's take, I want to put my conditional operator for my if condition. Condition hash when GS underscore work area hyphen field 5 is equal to C1, then I need to have my value 1. When GS underscore work area hyphen field 5 is equal to condition 2, and I can put and conditions also in if I want to keep two conditions. So then what you have to do, GS underscore work area hyphen field 3 is equal to let's say some C3. So then I'm going with value 2 like this. Now, if not, else I'll go ahead with my value 3. See here, I'm just going to keep everything in one single thing. Next, how can you use your switch operator? F6 for field 6. So now I'm going to say switch hash gs underscore work area hyphen F6. So now when I can say this as C1, then I can keep it as value 1. When C2, then I can say this as here value 2. Value 2. Else I'll go ahead with my value 3. Else I'll go ahead with my value 3. Okay, so this is how. See, I'm just replacing my switch statement to 2. I'm just replacing my switch statement to 2. So like this, you have to fill your internal table. So now for this square bracket, for this circular brackets, I'm closing this. And for this circular brackets, I'm closing this. And for this circular brackets, I'm closing this. So this is how I need to get the details in my internal table. So this is what you have to do it in case of your for loop. So what internal table for work area in internal table for work area in internal table, whatever the fields you want in your final, you will be just providing that final in that whatever you want, whether you want to use your read operation, whether you want to use your concatenate statement, whether you want to use your conditional statement, whether you want to use your switch statement. Let's say I want to use my formatting statement too. F7, so I'm going to have my conversion. So gs underscore work area hyphen field 7, let's take alpha equal to in, or whatever the conditional operator, whatever the formatting operators you can just go ahead and write down all those things. See, everything we are just writing it in one single statement. So that is what the for loop is. You have to understand your code from now onwards. So this is one of the most important things you need to know. You have to understand your code from now onwards. Okay. So clear with this for loop? Any questions? So because once this for loop is completed, I will always write the code in your for loop only. Clear with this? Any questions? Ashwini,
Yeah,
Lakshmi?
yeah,
Yeah,
hi
go ahead.
Rakesh. It's a little bit confusing to me. Can you explain the 43rd line?
43rd line. So this is
Uh,
concatenation. We have already seen
no, no,
about your
no, sorry, 42.
42. So now I have two internal tables. Let's take, I have an GT underscore itab, GT underscore itab, and GT underscore itab 1. So with the help of this, I need to fill my GT underscore final. So how you will be writing in your previous thing? So loop at, let's take GT. So let's go ahead with the same thing. I'm just writing it above. So now you will be filling your read statement. So in this, so I'll be saying GS underscore final. So what you will be writing your read statement, read table. What is my internal table? GT underscore itab 1 into GS underscore itab 1. So I'm just going with my inline declaration, data of GS underscore itab 1, where with the key, sorry, with the key, what you will be writing? Field 3 is equal to GS underscore work area hyphen field 3. And now if size of RC equal to 0, if size of RC is equal to 0, now in this work, in this itab, I want to get my field 4. Let's take in my internal table, I want to get this. So now work GS underscore final hyphen field 4 is equal to what you will be writing, GS underscore itab1 hyphen field 4. This is what you will be writing. Now, I just want to get only my field 4. If you go back to my read statement, the first 4 classes, see, this is the one. So I want to get only the particular field. Sorry, not this one. Yeah, this is the one. I want to get only the particular field from that internal table. So here also I'm going to get that. So I have to get only this field value, and this field value I need to pass it over here. So that I'm going to replace with my value hash. I'm going to replace the same statement. So value hash, what is my internal table, and field 1 is equal to my condition hyphen your field, whatever the field you have, whatever the field you want, and you will be writing it your optional. So now you don't need to do it with the data hash. So for this field 3, I'm just doing my read statement. I'm just doing my read statement. This is how you have to write your logic in your real time. So how you are going to read a particular field of an internal table based on your conditions, and how you are going to pass that field to the final internal table field. Yeah.
Yeah, it is clear. And in the old syntax and all, in the loop and loop, we will have like two or three like read table statements we will be writing. So here also we can write in this way, right? Like
Right.
we can
Let's
have
say
like
for
three or
example,
four read statements.
right, you can. So if I say, for example, for my field 8, I want to get it from my itab 2. So now the
Okay.
same thing, just copying this, you can just go ahead and paste it over here. So I'll be saying this as itab 2 field 3 is equal to field 8 hyphen, let's say I want to read my field 6 like this.
Okay.
So how many internal tables you want, you can just provide those many internal tables. Okay, clear?
Yeah. Yeah, it's clear.
Yeah. From now today onwards, in your real time also, try to use these syntaxes. So now, so let's suppose, for example, I'll be telling you the next thing with the let operator. There is one more thing called as the let operator. So this is the next statement inside the for loop. Inside your for loop, I want to do my let operator. How can I do that? That is the next thing. So let's go ahead and see an example program. So I'm just going to declare the things whatever I want. So then I'll come to my for loop. So now my requirement. So my requirement is, so I'm going ahead with my for all entries. So let's take, for example, I need to have these details to be get filled. Okay, let me copy this entire requirement. So as you know about this for all entries and everything, I'm not going to worry about that. So now I'll go ahead and show you how can I do that. In my old syntax also, I'll just go ahead and copy this one. In my old syntax, I'll go ahead and copy this one. As you already experienced person, so I'm just copying it, or else I would have stayed from the starting onwards. So now let me activate my code. So now, so AH example on the for loop and using the let operator too. I'm just going to tell you the let operator also in the same program. Just click on create example on for loop with let operator. let operator. So I'm going to take this as executable program, click on save. I'll be saving that in my package as well as my TR. Now I'm just going to provide this. Now see here. So now my requirement is I want to display the details of sales orders and its materials. So these are my three tables: VBAK, VBAP, and my MARA. So VBAK I have provided what are the fields I require. VBAP I have done, and MARA I have done. For this, these are your output fields. So the output fields which you want, you need to go ahead and create your structure. So because you can't be able to dynamically fill the output fields, without knowing of your structure. Without knowing of your structure, you can't able to fill your dynamically. So for this output fields, I just go ahead and created my structure. Whatever the structure I want, I have created my table type too. Whatever the table type I have, I just created my table type and I have created my internal table. I have created my internal table. I didn't create any work area for this. So in the old syntax, what you will be doing before the inline declarations, I would say the inline declarations. So what you will be doing for VBAK, you will be creating a structure. VBAK, you will be creating a types declaration. For VBAP, you will be creating your types declaration. And then for MARA, you will be creating your types declaration. And for your final, you will be creating your types declaration. So then, so if someone, I always used to prefer my table types. So someone might directly go ahead and create your data declarations. And then the types, after that, I will be going with the table types. And then the people will go ahead and create the data declarations for the internal table and work area and your work area. Now all these are gone, the inline declaration. All these are the types declarations and all these are gone except what you required. So if you require this final, so you will be going. So if it is required, then only we will be creating of your types declaration and your data declaration. And even I have not created my work area too, my work area. So now I'll just created my parameters and then I have done my data. So see, in the form of your inline declarations, I got your data. So delete adjacent duplicates. I didn't tell you about your for all entries transaction code. This is how you will be writing your for all entry selected query. Select the particular fields from your table into table for all entries the same way, but you'll be just writing your hosting variables. You'll be just writing your hosting variables and you'll be keeping a comma separator. Anyways, we'll be going and seeing that again. Don't worry about that. So now my sorting and my delete adjacent duplicates, and I'm going to create my temporary table and how you have to do it. And then I got the details from VBAK, and then so this is what. So based upon my material, I got my details. Now I need to go ahead and create my internal table. So this is how you will be doing it in your loop and end loop. So data of, you will be writing your optional syntax, and for MARA also you'll be writing your optional syntax and append value hash. So see here, with the new style I have written this, which we have already seen in your earlier classes. Now, how to replace this with your for loop? For loop. How can you replace this with your for loop? So now, what is my final internal table? GT underscore final is equal to value hash. And then for, what is my work area? GS underscore VBAP. GS underscore VBAP in GT underscore VBAP. In GS underscore VBAP in GT underscore VBAP. Now, what is my first field? VBELN is equal to, I'll say GS underscore VBAP hyphen VBELN. What is my second field? POSNR is equal to GS underscore VBA hyphen VBELN. And the third one is here MATNA. Let's say I'm going to fill this MATNA and NETWR2, Matner and NETWR. I'm just going to fill these two fields. Now the next one is your VKORG. So here I'll just say value hash. And what is my internal table? GT underscore VBAK. So I'm going to write my VBELN is equal to GS underscore VBAK hyphen VBELN, and then I'm going to write this as hyphen VKORG and then optional. VKORG and then optional. The same way VTWEG is equal to the same read statement I'm going to write. But instead of that, I'm just going with VTWEG. Now the next one is SPART. I'm just going ahead with the same thing. Instead of that, I'm going to write with SPART. Now what is the next field I have? The Matner. MATNR. Matner is equal to value hash. My GT Mara. So I'm just going to have this entire thing. Hyphen MATNR. I'm going to have my optional. So now copy this entire thing. So now what is the next one? MATNR MTART. I have already written my MTA, so I'm going with MTART. Here also I'm just going ahead with MTART. Now the next one is MBRSH is equal to the same thing, but here I'm going ahead with my MBRSH. Now the next one. So the next one is BISMT is equal to the same thing. Again, I'm going to say this as BISMT. So whatever the fields I have, I just got all the details. So I'm just closing my brackets and again I'm closing my braces. So this is what you will be writing in your internal table. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 10. The same fields. So this is what. Now I can just remove this loop and end loop, and I'll just say CL underscore demo underscore output, CL underscore demo underscore output, and I'll be saying a method called as display. Whatever the method I have, I'll just go ahead and display that. And here I'm just going to provide my internal table. Let's do your pretty printer and let's activate your code. There is an issue. No components exist with VBELN. VBELN. Okay. I have written it as
Yeah, it's
VBELN.
POS. No, I think the second one POSNR equal to G.
POSNR, and then
VBL and also spelling mistake first one.
I have written the same way in my structure. I have written in the same way in my structure. That's it. So now I'll just go ahead and activate this one and I'll just say click on execute. Now if I pass this as material type ROH, and now if I say it as execute, you will be getting your details. You'll be getting your details in the same way how you're going to get that. But see here, for every field, I'm doing a read operator, which will create my performance issue. But here, what I'm doing with my work area, and I'm passing that into my work into a structure. I'm just passing the structure fields. But here, what I am doing, For every field, I'm doing a read statement. So which will create a performance issue. So how to overcome this performance issue? So can I that means in the for loop, can I able to read the statement for one single time, for one single time? Can I able to read the internal tables? Sorry, read the internal table for one single time. Can I able to do that? So because here we are using on your each and every field. Let's suppose, for example, if you have 100 fields. So 100 fields will be going and doing that. And in that, let's say if you have 1 crore records, it will just create a performance issue like a hell. It will just go ahead and create a performance issue. So 1 crore or 10 crore records if you're having. So how can you reduce that? So why can't I able to get all those fields into a work area? So how can you do that inside your for loop? So in order to achieve that, we need to use an operator called as your let. We need to use an operator called as your let. Now, how the syntax of your work, how the updated syntax of the for loop, the updated syntax of your for loop. So I'm just going to write down the same thing. So now gt underscore final is equal to, I'm just going ahead with the same thing, and then we will be using an operator called as let. We'll be using a operator called as your let. So now I can go ahead and create my work area. You don't need to write an internal like a data off also. So it will automatically create it. It will automatically create. Let gs underscore vbak is equal to, I'm just going ahead with the same thing. And you will be writing this as optional. So the next one, what is my next one? gs underscore mara is equal to, I'm just going to have this entire thing. So now I got the details in my work area. I got the details in my work area. So now you need to use a keyword called as in. And then you need to open your brackets again. And then you need to open your brackets and whatever the fields you have. So let me copy that, Alt Shift right arrow, and I'm going to have my down arrow, Control C, and then I'll just go ahead and Control P. So now here, what is your thing? gs underscore vbap hyphen vbln. The next one is gs underscore vbap hyphen posnr. The next one is gs underscore mara hyphen matnr or gs underscore vbap hyphen matnr. And next gs underscore vbap hyphen netwr. And the next one is gs underscore vbak hyphen vkorg. The next one is gs underscore vbak hyphen vtweg. The next one is gs underscore vbak hyphen spart. The next one is gs underscore vbak hyphen mtart. The next one is gs underscore vbak hyphen mbrsh. Sorry, this is all belongs to my Mara. mbrsh. And next one is gs underscore mara hyphen bismt. So closing this loop and closing this loop. So this is how you need to write your for loop. So with the help of your multiple work area. So now if I say Control X I'm just going at providing this my output display. Output display. This is what. So and you need to create your work areas. So now when I say activate this, it will go ahead and activate. So maybe typo mistakes. NETWR. That's it. See, this is how you need to write down. But in your writing in your for loop, you don't need to write your data off. You don't need to write your data off and everything. Automatically, SAP will take care of it. SAP will take care of it to go ahead and create your work area internally. Create your work area internally. Now, if I say activate this code, now when I put my breakpoint over here, if I say click on execute and let me go ahead with ROH and now click on execute, my breakpoint has been triggered. My breakpoint has been triggered. Now in my GT final, as of now, I don't have the records. If I say F5 with one single statement, the records will be gets added. The records will be gets added. And now if I say F8, you'll be seeing those details. You'll be just seeing those details. Okay, so this is how you need to use your let operator inside your for loop. You need to use your let operator inside your for loop. I already shown you the syntax where how can you use your case statement and everything. Let's say, for example, I want to get my material description. Let's say I want to get my material description. MEAT_DES type, let's say CAR 40. I'm just going with that. Now I want to fill my description. So here I can use this. MEAT-DES is equal to condition hash. Condition hash. And what is my field I want to check? I want to check on this field MTART. I want to check on this MTART. When GS_MTART is equal to ROH, then I need to print this as my raw material. My raw material. Now, when GS_MTART is equal to FERT, then I'm going to say this as finished product. Next, when GS_MTART is equal to HALB, then I'm going to say this as semi finished product. Semi finished product. Else I'm going to say this as others. So now I have written my case statement. I just want to close this. So this is what you have to do it. You have to do it. Now if I want to have my concatenation, let's say I want to concatenate the executed date and time. EXE date time. Date time, I'm just going to take this as cat 20. So now I want to do my concatenation. So now I'll be saying this as EXE executed date and time is equal to, I just want to concatenate my site datum, and then I want to concatenate my site unit. I want to concatenate my site datum as well as my site unit. If you want, you can just go ahead and use your convert into cat 20 of this one. So I'm just converting that, whatever the value which you have provided. So now if I say this as pretty printer, and now let's activate my code. Now if I say click on execute, if I say HALB, and now if I say execute, you'll be getting those details as the semi-finished product. Semi-finished product, and it has been executed and how it has been executed. when it has been executed and how it has been. So who is the person that has been executed? See here, I have used my concatenations and I have used this. Now if I say this as ROH, now if I say click on execute, you will be getting your raw materials. You will be getting your raw materials. And say if I say FERT, you will be getting your finished product. You'll be getting a finished product. Maybe the data is huge, that's why it's taking some good amount of your time. Yeah, see here, the data is huge. So that's what. So see, this is how you need to write your this thing. You need to write your conditional operators and everything. Now, I do have a question. How to call a function module inside a for loop? How can I call my function module, or how can I write my select query? How to write a select query? So for example, inside your loop and end loop, you can write your select query, but we won't be doing that. So this is one more scenario. But there are some cases where you have to write down. How to write down that? How to write down that? And one more thing is, I have a deep structure. So you know the concept of deep structure? What is this? Do you have any idea what is meant by deep structure? Ashwini and Lakshmi, any idea? Okay. So deep structure is nothing but structure inside an internal table. Structure inside an internal table. Now, how to fill this? How to fill this? Now I have a deep structure. Now this deep structure I am creating it my internal table. So that means how it will be. So deep structure is, so you will be having field 1, field 2, field 3, field 4, which is of type data element, which is of type the data element, which is of type the data element, which is of type the data element, and then field 5 is of type internal table. Field is of type internal table, or I can say this as my table. So this is how your deep structure will looks like. Now I converted this as my internal table. So for this this F5, again I need to go ahead and create a for loop. That means loop inside a loop. How can you do that? Here, loop inside a loop. How can you achieve your loop inside your loop? Okay, so these are the things which are pending in case of your for loop. So try to do this. So try to get a solution for this. I'm just giving it to till Monday. So come back with me your solution. Come back with me your solution. If not, anyways, I'm going to tell you. But so I'll always ask you to come back with your solution so that you can know how can you check in your Google and everything. How can you check in your Google and everything? So that's why I'm just giving you this as your heads up requirement. Okay, so that's the end of today's story. Before I signing off for today, and so after this we are going to see one more statement called as your reduce. The reduce statement. The reduce statement. So by this we have completed whatever I have know. I have tell you everything. Maybe there are one or two other syntaxes which we might not recursively or aggressively use that in your SAP in your coding style. So that's I have skipped it, but you can learn on your own. You can learn on your own. So if I'm learning a new thing, but for sure I will always tell you that. No worries about that. So this is what the next thing is. We have to see something called as well reduce. After that, we will be seeing the things which we can do it in the select query, which we can do it in your select query. I'm just going to show you that, like your select statement, select with a join, select an internal table and a database table with for all entries. And how can you join a internal table and a database table? And in the select statement, we do have some of the other options, like how to trim, how to remove your leading zeros, how can you concatenate, two fields of an internal, two fields of a database table and convert that. How can you use your case, how can you use your if statement inside your select statement? How can you do your sum? How can you get your maximum value? How can you get your minimum value? How can you get your average value? So all these are some of the things which you have to learn in your select statements. But whatever the statements which I told you, the minimum, average, concatenate, all those things I'll be telling you after your CDS views. Okay, so that's the end of today's session. Before I signing off for today's session, any questions? And the next class will be on Monday. So go ahead and practice with this new syntaxes, guys. I always used to recommend to use this for loop in your real time, so that people can all, I mean, once you are writing in a new style, so people can know how good you are in So before that, if I show you this code, you won't be able to understand what is this and everything. Right now, you can able to know how exactly you have to write your for loop. Okay, clear with this? Any questions?
Yeah.
Let's,
Yeah,
sorry.
Rakesh, like let operator is used for performance, like before and all, as you told. If you scroll up a little bit, yeah,
So
if we
instead of,
write this, yeah,
yeah, instead of using the same read statement for see this we are doing on a same internal table.
okay,
I'm just I'm just getting one field. But why I need to read for every field? Why can't I pass the details into a work area? So that now the read statement will perform only one time. So here, see here how many times it has performed. 3 times it has performed, and now it has performed on your single time. Even the same for Mara. 3 times it has performed like this. So the same thing. See, this is what the loop and end loop, how you are doing it. So you are getting your work area details the same way. How can you get that work area inside your for loop? Clear?
yes,
Okay. Any other questions?
no,
So, but
nothing
try
from
to
my.
do this. So to achieve this, I'll be saying this as example. You have to go ahead with your classes and methods approach. Classes and methods approach. So then only you can achieve this one. So to call your function modules or to write your select queries and everything. So how can you, I mean, classes and methods. So in the methods, we will be having a different parameters like importing, exporting, changing, and returning. In that, where you have to provide that is what you need to know. Where you have to provide that is what you need to know. So that is what I have given you. So try to do that. So Monday, I'll be explaining this one, and then if possible, I'll be showing you my what is my official laptop, my official how I used to write my code, Okay, so clear? Okay, so that's it. So we'll meet you on Monday and we'll continue our session. Thank you all. So I'll be uploading the session by today afternoon. You can just go ahead and get those videos. Yeah, Lakshmi, any questions?
No, Rakesh.
Okay, I'll be considering it as no questions from anyone. So if you have any questions, you can buzz me. No issues for that. So, and I guess everyone are able to, both of you are able to access the videos and you can able to download the videos, right? Any problem in
Yes,
getting
we can. Yeah, I'm able to access those videos.
Lakshmi? What about you?
Yes, Rakesh, me too. The
Okay.
access.
Okay, so that's it. We'll meet you again on Monday and continue our session. Thank you all.
Yeah,
So,
thank
but
you.
before that,
Thank you all.
you're getting the details right. You're facing any issues? A pitch and speed is okay, right? Or do you want me to reduce?
Yeah, it was okay, Rakesh.
Okay. Yeah, thanks for that. Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you all.
yeah, thank you all.